One dragon, no matter how hot, does not make a summer. That was a line from the first part of this book that we are going to be talking about today. This is The Monsters and the Critics by J.R. Tolkien. It's a lecture he gave on Beowulf back in 1936. He seemed to think that people were too concerned about the historical value of Beowulf and not its merit as a poem or as a story, a narrative, something about heroes and fighting monsters and all that kind of stuff. And that line, one dragon, however hot, does not make a summer, stood out to me. So I wanted to use that for anything really within this video. Anyway, tea. These are the words of J.R. Tolkien, spoken during the groundbreaking 1936 lecture at Oxford. It's a line that invites us to rethink how we approach Beowulf, a poem Tolkien called one of the greatest works of Western literature. But what did he mean by this? And why should we care about his perspective nearly 90 years later? By the time most scholars treated Beowulf like an artifact, something to be dissected for its historical clues about the Anglo-Saxon world, but Tolkien, he had a different take. He saw this poem first and foremost as a story, as a tale of heroism, danger and humanity, wrapped in the battle against monsters and dragons. So he wasn't all that concerned by who wrote it, why they wrote it, when it was written. I guess as well as that we can leave that to, should we say, better minds, while we can fixate on the narrative, I guess, of Beowulf. Tolkien felt that we were focused too much on the historical aspects, what he called, and I'm going to need to actually read this shit because goddamn, Philologia, Mythologia, Archaeologia, Geographia. I'll put those names up here so you don't think I'm losing my mind. These are just big words for digging into the historical and cultural contexts. Important? Sure, absolutely. I mean, where would Beowulf be without all that stuff? But by focusing so much on these, Tolkien argued that we were neglecting the heart of the poem, the poesis, or creative artistry. I will put poesis up here as well because I don't want you to think I'm having a stroke. For Tolkien, Beowulf wasn't just about his age or what it told us about Anglo-Saxon life. It was about the timeless story, a hero grappling with the unknown, facing monsters, and ultimately his own mortality. I think that, and you'll probably get this in my Wednesday Q&A videos. I did a big Q&A with ChatGPT about this and why he decided to fight the dragon on his own, to leave his men out, even though one came in to help. But ultimately, he told them to wait outside while he goes in and deals with it. And I think that was him dealing with his mortality. I think that he was wanting to die, effectively. He wanted to die a warrior's death. And yes, it may tell us something about our past, but more importantly, it entertains. It's an entertaining story. It's a story of heroes fighting monsters and dragons. I mean, what kid wouldn't want this told to them at bedtime? And isn't that kind of the whole point of the story, really? The story is meant to entertain. This perspective isn't surprising when you think about Tolkien's life. He wasn't just a scholar of Old English and Norse mythology. He was a storyteller. The same love of myth and heroism that inspired the Lord of the Rings has also shaped his views on Beowulf. And of course, we have to take note that he's talking about heroism and fighting dragons and all this kind of thing. Now, this lecture came out 2 months after he sent the original manuscript of The Hobbit to the publishers, Allen and Unwin. So, did he have skin in the game? Absolutely. Maybe he was just marketing, so when this book eventually gets published, people aren't laughing at him. Anyway, maybe not. Tolkien reminded us that history is just one aspect or one layer of Beowulf. Beneath that lies a tale that is meant to move us, thrill us, and remind us of the courage it takes to face life's challenges, whether they're dragons or something more mundane, like taxes. Although I think taxes are far more scary. So let's finish up. And this is just the start of Tolkien's take on Beowulf. There's so much more to unpack, and next week I'll dig deeper into his legendary lecture and continue to shape the way we read this epic today. I will be focusing more on the Christian pagan aspects of the story of Beowulf based on this lecture. Let's not forget that Tolkien himself was a devout Christian. We are talking about a story that was written by a Christian, probably, in trying to infuse old pagan traditions and whatnot into that. And we'll talk more about that next week. So if you love the mythology and the lore of Beowulf, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment in the down there to let me know what you think of this content, because I'm going to continue making it no matter what. But I could be better at it, I guess. I could, memorize the scripts. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.